How to use Keynote to create a set of wallpapers for classroom iPads. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and launch Keynote here. I'm going to create a new slideshow, and I'm just going to pick the default white theme. Let's go full screen here. Now, here's the key to doing this. It's actually a very simple process. Let me just make this a little smaller. Okay. One thing you need to do to make this really work properly is you need to change the slide size. We want the size of each slide. Each slide eventually is going to be one wallpaper for an iPad. We want each slide to have the correct resolution for the iPad. Now, the iPad resolution is 1024 by 768, which is what this slide is. However, to enable the wallpaper to look good both when the iPad is being held in portrait mode and in landscape mode, we actually want to create a square wallpaper. And in addition, to deal with the new iPads having the Retina display, we actually want to use a bigger resolution to get a higher quality wallpaper. So what I'm going to do here is I'm in the inspector, and I'm in the first tab, the document tab here, and where it says slide size, I'm going to go ahead and pick a custom slide size. Now, the appropriate slide size for a wallpaper on an iPad for the Retina display is 2048 by 2048 pixels. And so that will create my slide. Now, obviously, it looks much, much bigger. It's a bigger slide, so I'm just going to make it a smaller view here so that we can see the whole thing. There we go. That should do it. I'm going to get rid of the text boxes, and what you can do now is really up to you. You can search the web for good wallpapers for the iPad and use them as a background. I happen to have one here that I'm going to use. You could just make it a plain color, but I'm going to go ahead and insert an image that I have here from my desktop. Have it called background. And this is a 2048 by 2048 image, so you see it fits perfectly. So I'm going to get right aligned in the middle, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock it in place. And there's your background. Now, the whole purpose of doing this is so that if you have a classroom set of iPads like I do, you can create a custom wallpaper for each iPad with a number on it. It makes them much easier to keep track of. Students will know if they have the correct iPad, the one they're supposed to be using or not. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add a text box, and we're going to put a label on it. Now, again, you can use letters, numbers, whatever. I happen to have 28 iPads, so I'm going to label them iPad 1 through 28. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, iPad number 1. Now, obviously, you can play with the font however you like. Let's see. I'm a font guy, so I'm going to find one that I really like. I like Oxygen a lot. So make it bold and make it a lot bigger than it is now. Even bigger than that. I think I'll make it about 500 point font. That looks pretty good. And obviously I have to play with it a little bit here. I'm going to drop my line height a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I want to change the color. I could just go with a white like this, but that looks kind of flat. So what I'm going to do is get a little creative here, and I'm going to pull out one of these lighter blue colors from the picture. That looks nice, and I want to make it jump out from the background a little bit, so I'm going to give the text a little bit of a shadow. And again, this is entirely up to you. You could just kind of play with the settings until you get something that you like. And once you get it to something you like that looks pretty good to me, then all you got to do is select the slide in the slide sorter over here, and I'm going to hit Command D, and it will duplicate the slide. And you can go ahead and change the numbers. So you have iPad 2, and you can keep doing this as many times as you need to until you have all of them. Now, fast forward, you've got all of them. What do we do at this point? Well, the easiest thing to do is go to the Share menu, and we want to export as images. And so we're going to create a separate image file for each slide, all of them. I would suggest going with the JPEG just to keep the file size down. You can pull the quality up as much as you'd like. And I'm going to save them just to my desktop. I'll call it iPad Wallpapers. Okay, and let's see what we got. All right, and there we go. So now I have a wallpaper for each of my iPads. Now, to go a step further, what I do is I will actually upload them to the internet, and I'll show you what I mean. I have on my classroom webpage, let's make this full screen here, I have made a quick kind of hidden folder here called iPad Wallpapers, and here all of them are. So what I can do is I can send my students with their iPads to this website, and they can go ahead and view each wallpaper, and then set it as their background. I will show you what this looks like on the iPad so you can get an idea. Okay, so here you can see I'm on my iPad, and this is my iPad mini. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that website where I stored all these iPads. Now, of course, you could upload these manually, but I find it's easier to have them online. So I'm going to go ahead and select one of them and let it load up on my iPad. And then you would basically just do this as you would save any image. You can hold your finger down on it and go to Save Image. And now that image is actually in my photo roll. So I can go into my settings, I can go to Wallpaper, and actually select an image from my camera roll. And I would set it as both. And there you go. Now I have this beautiful new wallpaper. And what's neat is it actually looks good in landscape or portrait, as you see here, because we made it the proper size. And so that's how you quickly and easily create a set of iPad wallpapers using Keynote. Of course, you can. I will put the link to these individual images as well as a link to the Keynote file that I used to create this. And remember, be creative when you're making them. You can make them for any grade level, have all sorts of fun backgrounds. You can put the teacher's name on it, the classroom number, whatever you need to do. It's a really helpful tip for using iPads in the classroom. Thanks very much.